Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I invite you to do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in residential or commercial real estate anywhere in the great state of Texas, but especially here in our lovely city of Houston, reach out to me directly on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Ric. I want to thank everyone in the audience for tuning in this Thursday, man. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here. As you can see, sitting next to me is not the Texas real estate king, Mr. LarryWBrooks.
Nope.
Is a guest co-host. You've seen her on the Prime Real Estate Network before. I thank her so much because she has been a spotlight, a highlight, and one of my favorite guests. She is now sitting in as a co-host.
Thank you.
Making some time out of her busy schedule on Thursdays. I know how Thursdays can be for business owners and business leaders, so thank you so much in advance for sitting in with us.
You're most welcome. It's a pleasure to be here, Ric.
And if you don't recognize the face, I'm sure you recognize the voice. So without any further ado, I want to introduce my guest co-host. She is not only a famous radio personality, but she's also a multi-time author, serial entrepreneur, inspiration, educator, and motivator for people all over the world, and especially those here in Houston, Texas. I thank her so much. She is known the world over, but today with us, I'd like to introduce Dr. Michelle Deselle, the Wealth Tattletale. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, and I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to interview the guests, and as always, I love being here with you guys, and thanks for having me on.
Oh,
it's
no,
an honor.
This is one of those spotlight episodes, man. I want to ask everyone, now that we have revealed this week's co-host, get on your cell phone, text, call, inbox, DM, and say, Dr. Michelle is sitting in with Ric today, because we want to not only spotlight her, but also spotlight this week's guest, because I am so excited about today's episode. This week's guest, and I want to thank her in advance because her schedule can definitely be very busy on Thursdays leading into the weekend. She is also a published author, serial entrepreneur. She also motivates, educates, and provides the public with the luxury of her experience. She is here with us. I thank her so much. And I'd like to introduce to the Prime Real Estate Network audience, Miss Tashell Williams, certified life coach, author, and entrepreneur. How you doing?
I am doing amazing. How are y'all doing?
Great, fantastic. We're excited that you're here.
I'm excited to be here.
Now, if our energy was part of the aura of rainbows and colors, I feel like the energy we have in the building today are all bright oranges and yellows. So I want to thank both of you ladies for bringing such infectious energy. And Ms. Tashell, I got to ask you first, could you please introduce not only yourself, but your company and your brand to the Prime Real Estate Network audience, and tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Absolutely. I'm Tashell Williams. I'm a certified wellness coach. I am a serial entrepreneur. I just wrote a book, my first book, One Long to Live, about my life story. I'm also the CEO of Euphoric Essence Hair Salon, as well as the CEO of Cadence Tailored Organic Beauty Products. And I'm just so excited to be here with y'all. Y'all just don't know.
Ooh, you've been up to a lot, honey.
Yes, I have.
I'm quite impressed. I can't wait to hear the story unfold.
Yes.
So you have a very inspirational story that I think so many members of our audience would be able to take so many powerful things from. So please, I want to thank you in advance for your transparency and your candor. But could you share a little bit about some of your personal challenges with our audience?
Well, I will start from the story that I'll talk about in my book, because there's so many stories that I have to pull from. But just the fact that I lost one of my lungs at the age of 22, very young age, due to a rare tumor that had never, ever been found in the lung before.
Wow.
I had a 1-year-old daughter at the time. And just going through something like that definitely changes the trajectory of your life. Like the way you think, especially at 22 years old, right? Life became totally different after losing my lung, after the challenges that I had to go through spiritually, mentally, physically, and recovery. It's something that I definitely questioned, like, God, why? But he used all of those things that I went through to propel me into my purpose. And my purpose is what it is that you see today as a wellness coach, as a hairstylist and a salon owner and everything beauty. So my passion and my purpose, they got married. And so this is what you see today and how I gift the world to be a better place. So that's what's unique and inspiring, because you don't come in contact with too many people who have coded 2 times and wasn't expected to live. Wow. And so I'm the reminder, not only to myself, but to others that are around me, that no matter what you go through, you're going to make it out. You a survivor. And just knowing what the blueprint is for you to make it out is what I now hold, and I try to share with the world.
You know, you're a living, breathing testimony to faith, belief, and the blessings that if you are a believer and you are a person of faith, that can be bestowed upon you. So I want to thank you so much for sharing your story, especially for someone to have such a challenge at the age where you feel all powerful. You feel like the world is your oyster and anything can happen for you. So just for our audience, and you know, it's great having Dr. Michelle here as well, because she has so many great insights into how people can triumph over obstacles and adversity. So please just share with the audience your company and how you've used that ability to fight through challenges, to fight through the same challenges that comes with being an entrepreneur and a business owner.
Definitely. So the same challenges that I list in this book are definitely, like you said, the same ways that I get through challenges in business. And that is first and foremost to have a relationship with God. I am a spiritual person. You can't do anything on this earth in your own power. And so when you try to do that, your body malfunctions, and that's when you stress and you worry and your health fails. So having that as your foundation of knowing that there's something bigger than you that works through you and what you do is key in any type of challenge and adversity. Knowing yourself, being well, being balanced in your spiritual, in your mental, in your emotional, in the way that you handle life is very important when it comes to your challenges. Gratitude, being thankful, your focus, your mindset of what you fill your brain with, your thoughts, very, very important when it comes to anything that you deal with. Also, knowing the power of prayer, meditation, and sitting still and allowing God to speak to you. Knowing that everything that you go through, there's a lesson and there is a blessing. And it's for a reason. So embrace the adversity and the challenge, not run from it. So in life, prepare for those moments. As we all, you know, get on the road of optimism and and we have our affirmations and stuff. But in life, prepare for the adversity and the challenges.
Okay. Tashell, that's a whole lot that you just said there.
But
I know at 22, that was not your mindset at 22.
No, not at 22.
So what I want you to stress to us, tell me, 1 hour before you found out about the tumor and everything, what was going on in your life? 1 hour before you got this news, who was that girl? Because at 22, you're just trying to figure things out.
Absolutely.
Who was she? Who was she?
Well, that girl was all over the place, to be honest with you. I was in college at Texas Southern University, and I was a new mom. So my baby was barely 1. So as I was in the midst of trying to figure out myself and dealing with my own issues, here it is, now I'm responsible for a whole nother human being that I'm still trying to figure out.
Exactly.
Doing that, and I don't think I was working. I may have been working, so I was in the banking industry because I've always liked numbers and money. So I was in that industry as well as going to school. But my aspirations, the biggest thing in my life was I want to play a JKA. That's what was going on in my life.
An hour before all this happened.
I'm trying to be social.
Social goals,
not
education
miss the
goals.
letter on the wall or where I'm going to the interest meeting.
You want to make sure you can ski with, right?
Yes. So that's where I was. You know, I was still getting out and about and being social. So that's who I was.
An hour before, that's who you were. So it takes, you mentioned, you called it a travesty. Something like that can alter everything that you're about. And so then this journey begins after that, right? I'm not the 22-year-old girl with the hottest guy on campus. Me and my girlfriends are not trying to get together.
That's right.
That's amazing. And so here it unfolds, the author, the serial entrepreneur. It's mindset.
It is. So what came from, now that you put me in that mind space, actually I always wanted to own a hair salon, but I never thought about being a hairstylist.
Okay.
But growing up as a little girl, I had low self-esteem, daddy issues, just some things that I had going on.
Right.
From that, when I would go to the salon, I felt most confident. It was like the energy booster I needed to continue to get through the issues that I was going through. So I feel like in addition to everything going on around me, God used those low points of self-esteem and what I needed to feel more confident, and I used it to help other women. That's why I became a salon owner and a hairstylist, because I wanted to have a hand in making women feel confident in themselves, just like I did when I was a little girl.
Wow.
To take it a step further, the wellness that I had to learn throughout the years after that tragedy is what I realized women don't just need to, it doesn't stop at the outer beauty. The inner beauty is about wellness. And not just about exercising and eating right. It's what are you telling yourself every day?
Oh, yeah.
Do you love yourself?
Right.
Because you coming in here trying to get me to fix something that's inside. You get what I'm saying? So it went a little deeper.
Yeah.
So that's where the salon part came with that. Go ahead. I know you got a question. I heard that deep breath.
So was it important for you to let them know, I cannot make you look like Halle Berry on the outside?
Yes.
What's going on in the inside where you feel dark, where you feel ugly and unwanted? So those were the things that you were trying to get them to see. I can't fix that. Me, you bringing that picture in here of Halle Berry, I can't do that.
Right.
Right?
And being okay with it. Because it took me some years. In business, you have to be led by the Holy Spirit. You just do. It's a huge faith walk. And as God grows you as a person, he grows you to see different aspects of life personally to implement into your business.
Okay.
And so I didn't see that immediately. It was all about the outer for a very long time.
Okay.
Till about 6 years ago. And I was like, ooh, these women inside, it's inside. I could feel the energy. Before I didn't know about energy, I was like, I can whip up some hair. You look good going about your way. But it was the women that, they never satisfied. And the conversations and the heaviness they would bring. And I was like, no, this needs to be more than just, let me do your hair. I need to create a place of peace for these women so that they can leave lighter than how they came, and that goes beyond everything.
So the inspiration to be a life coach, that played a big part in that
the
as well?
Coach, yes. Yeah. Because I started off in the environmental wellness. Are you all familiar with environmental wellness?
Shed some light.
Please.
No,
please
okay, so the start was environmental wellness because of the fact that I live with one lung. It's very important, like the air I breathe, the things that I put on my skin, as well as what I put inside of my body. It matters.
Yes.
Right.
Because as a woman with research and everything that I know with wellness coaching in that area, it introduces sickness into our bodies. So as a lot of women battle breast cancer and hormonal disruption, these things comes from what we inhale, what we put on our skin. So that's where it started, because I wanted to be a healthier person so I can live longer.
Right.
And that extended into, let me share with my family, let me share with my friends. Well, let me share this from behind the chair. Well, let me just rebrand my whole salon. So now we don't have plug-ins. We have essential oil diffusers. Now we have toxin-killing plants. Now we don't use Lysol. We clean with other EPA-approved cleansers that I can breathe in, that you can breathe in too. So that's what sets me uniquely apart from any hair salon that you will ever encounter.
Because all this is an education for me. You know what I'm saying? Everything's an education for me. So that just leads me to this question of the passion you have as far as environmental wellness and taking care of everything that's around you, touching you, or you ingest. How has that manifested itself in the way you produce your products?
Oh, it's absolutely, it's the foundation of it. That is the reason why I came out with the product line. As a lot of African American women, or just women of color or people with curly hair, we come out with these products, right? But me knowing what I know, I'm like, but just because you're natural and without chemical or relaxer doesn't mean you're without chemical. because a lot of these natural hair care lines have chemicals that are hazardous to our women. I mean, our health.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So knowing what I know, because I've studied chemicals, I know what's toxic, what's not,
Right.
all the way down to the ingredient. I felt like there was a need for a hair care line that was truly safe from someone who I can't cut corners because my health depends on it.
Right.
There's no better resource than someone like you that has to take this deadly serious through necessity.
Absolutely.
And you're passing that education on to people like myself who would have never given it thought otherwise. And for that, I think that you're a godsend for so many men and women, because as I can see here, you do have a men's oil here, Black Label. Black Label men's oil. I've been eyeballing the whole time.
Yes, I do.
So for the guys in the audience like me, could you just give us a little bit into the RELOCATIng men's oil that you have?
Absolutely. So RELOCATing men's oil is phenomenal. It's a growth oil and a moisture oil. A lot of my customers use it if they have ingrown hair on their beard or either back here, because it's organic watermelon seed oil with the concoction of 18 essential oils.
Oh, wow.
It actually thickens the hair, so if you have like thinning spots in your top or even in your beard, it grows it. And if you have any scalp issues, dandruff, psoriasis of the scalp, it rids of that as well. So I just really wanted to make an oil for men and for women, or products that serve for multiple purposes. So number one, you could save money, because a lot of these products are just duplicated. They change one or two ingredients and then they put a whole nother label.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm here to help you save money, give you something that has vegan and organic ingredients to keep you healthy internally as well as outside looking good. But that's what the men's oil does. The Raindrop does as the same thing. It's just the women's brand of what I just described for the men. And it smells good too.
No, absolutely.
All-inclusive brand. Now, that's important. That is so important that you have had the wherewithal and the research to include the men into your brand.
Thank you.
Because that's what's going on now. That inclusion is so important. We don't want to leave the booze out.
And I didn't want to make it all look girly.
Yeah.
You know, I have a husband, I have a son. And speaking of names, the women's is named after my daughters, Cadence and Taylor.
Okay.
And then my son and my husband, even though my last name is Williams, I thought it sounded better to say William. And then my son carries the last name of Brooks. So I wanted to include them as well.
Love it.
So everything is meaningful when it comes to me with names and stuff like that.
So with Cadence Taylor products and RELOCATing products, for those in the audience that have just tuned in like 30 seconds ago, and where were you guys at the beginning?
Right.
How can they tap in with you? How can they go about ordering products right now?
Right now, www.cadencetaylor.com.
Oh, that's it. So I thank you so much, because your story of triumph over adversity is something that's so powerful that I'm sure there's many members of our audience that are being not only influenced but motivated and inspired by. We're going to take a break to hear from our sponsor, but when we come back, I would love it if you could share a little bit with our audience about your life before being a businesswoman and entrepreneur.
I can do that.
Fantastic.
I want to thank you so much, because this has been a great conversation. Everyone out there, thanks for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. Dr. Michelle Deselle and I is going to take a short break to hear from our sponsors, but we'll be right back.
Got to pay the bills.
Thank you.
I'm serial entrepreneur Larry W. Brooks, and I'd like to personally invite you to take a closer look at the Pure Hustle clothing brand, along with several books that I've authored to take entrepreneurs, small business owners to the next level of their business. So please take a look at shoplwb.com. How do you survive?
3 years ago, I set out on a mission to create the blueprint for how we could go into our own neighborhoods, buy blocks, renovate them, and combat the negative effects of gentrification. Today, that vision is reality. Our project is located in the heart of the historic Lyons Avenue Business District in 5th Ward of Houston. Lyons Avenue was once a thriving black business district with businesses and commerce. However, after desegregation, that all changed. Now, we are recreating that legacy. These buildings are 100 years old. We just gave them a new life. This house was built in 1925 and was vacant for years. It's now a podcast studio and is rented out as an event space for everything from engagement parties to TV commercials, music videos. City Council even had meetings here. We've had birthday parties. We've had baby showers, and the $5,000 to $10,000 a month generated in this building.
This is Prime Real Estate Rick, and I'm here to present to you this week's Prime Real Estate Network Home Buyer Insider. This beautiful 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath home is located in the highly sought after Hanover Forest community in North Harris County. This beautiful property can be you and your family's private sanctuary from all the hustle and bustle of big city living. Reach out to the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks, or myself, Mr. Prime Real Estate Ric Davis, to schedule you and your family's private showing today. This is Prime. Welcome back to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. I'm your host, Ric Davis. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you can do so at Prime Real Estate Ric. If you're a real estate professional, an aspiring real estate professional, or currently a student in real estate school, and you want to learn more about the Brooks and Davis real estate family, go to brooksanddavis.com, schedule a consultation where Coach Mike Davis, Mr. Larry Brooks, or myself will feel great about providing you with any information, letting you know how we do things over at the Brooks and Davis Real Estate Family, and invite you to stop in and get a behind-the-scenes look to see how the real estate business really works. I want to thank my co-host, Dr. Michelle Deselle, the Wealth Tattletale. Thank you so much for sitting in with us this week.
Well, I'm having a ball, so this doesn't feel like work. This is great. Thank you for having me.
I want to thank our guest this week, Miss Tashell Williams, one lung survivor. This is so strong. Thank you so much for sitting in with us. In our first part of the interview, we talked a lot about your story, your healthcare products, the things that you're doing. We even talked about the books that you're authoring. But I want to make sure we take some time to spotlight that book. So please show the book to our audience.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Let them know where they can get the book, and tell us a little bit about what they will enjoy once they purchase the book and have a chance to go through those pages.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so first of all, you can purchase the book on Amazon. So go to Amazon, One Lung to Live. It'll come up for you.
Yes.
I'm very transparent in this book. I talk about my whole entire journey of when I found out about the tumor in my lung. I talk about the adjustments, because my body and things are not the same. So there are a lot of adjustments that I had to deal with and accept.
Absolutely.
And to learn to really love myself in spite of those adjustments, even though before I had adjustments, I had insecurities.
Yeah.
So I talk about all of that. I talk about the spiritual challenges, mental challenges, physical challenges, and then I leave some life lessons about just how I've learned to live life, what I feel like has come from going through this tragedy, basically helping you have the blueprint of making it through any adversity and challenge in life.
So when you mentioned about all of the changes that you went through physically and everything, and that you were already suffering from insecurities. So when a Slim Jim like you say that they were insecure, most women don't understand, because we think only insecurities come from a woman that's overweight and all of that kind of thing, but that's not true.
That's right.
And so you were slim something, and hippie girl like me, like, oh my God, I wish I didn't have to worry about trying on jeans 10 times. So what is that like when people say, girl, what were you insecure about?
Man, so being skinny, people still tease you for being skinny.
Yeah.
And they don't look at it as the same as if you're overweight.
Yeah.
But I can't tell you how many times somebody was like, oh, you skinny, do you eat? Hearing that all the time. And mostly for me, it was the lack of love that I felt like I got from my parents. So that's where my insecurity was like, am I worthy of love?
Right.
Am I worthy of anything? What is my value? Because nobody ever told me what I was worth.
You know, the great thing about your story, and I appreciate you so much for your testimony, because I've read in several books about high achievers and those in the 1% success rate, is that they say a lot of our greatest motivations come from our insecurities. It's those things that you think about from your youth that get you up at 4:45 in the morning.
That's right.
So could you just share with our audience, Ms. Williams, a little bit about your life before entrepreneurship and before you became a business owner? Because there are so many people in our audience that's probably sitting in a chair that you were sitting in 5, 10, 15 years ago. So could you just share a little bit about that transition, if you wouldn't mind?
I don't mind. I think that's a beautiful question. I've never been asked that before, because I think it's important. I had like a very intimate book release earlier this year in my home. And one of the girls that came, or ladies, I would say, we call each other girls. She came and she said something. Everybody got a chance to speak and give me some words of affirmation and congratulatory words. And when she spoke, one of the things she said kind of slapped me because I was like, oh, that was me. Right. She said, I'm so proud of you, friend. You know, I remember back in the day when you was just trying to figure it out. You ain't know what you was going to do with your life. And I had forgot about that part.
Right.
And so as you asked me that question, before I didn't know what, I knew I loved to do hair, but I was running from it. Because from where I come from, it was like a hustle or it was ghetto. And I was like, that's not me. I'm not ghetto, you know? And I want to be respected. I want to show up in another kind of way than what I see. And so I ran from it, but it was a talent. It was something that I loved as a little girl. And so I would do hair from time to time, and I would help out my Aunt Jenny because she was a hairstylist, and I loved the atmosphere of a salon. Right. So I would shampoo for her. That was what life looked like. I was in school, but I stopped. I was still in school when I had that situation happen to me. Yeah. So I was like, do I really like what I'm going to school for? I really didn't know. I knew I wanted something different.
What were you studying? What were you
I was studying accounting and business management.
All right. Okay.
So I was like, oh, I keep dropping classes. Yeah, I was like, I'm dropping classes because I like money. I like numbers.
She keeps saying, I like money.
I've always loved to count money, and I like numbers. So, but I wasn't fulfilled in what I was studying. Yeah. And so I was like, what is this really going to turn into? Because I was going to be an accountant.
Okay.
But I was like, ooh, but I don't really like this. I like math. So I didn't really know. I was up in the air. I didn't see anybody that I actually wanted to be like in that moment in my life. So the blueprint wasn't laid for me to where I was visually connecting.
And I got to ask you, though, so could you go back and was there a day, was there a week, was there a challenging month that you could pinpoint as like the tipping point? Because there's got to always be a catalyst that motivates us to take our life, take control of our life, and drive the car.
I can tell you about that day.
Please.
So I finally was like, okay, I'm gonna do this hairstylist thing because I love it. Yeah. And I'm gonna do it, and I feel good doing it. So I did that, and I was working for a salon called the Root of You Day Spa. I don't know if you've heard of the Root of You. You probably did, because they were very popular. That was what I felt like. Okay, if I say I'm a hairstylist and I work there, I'm proud to be there.
Okay.
This is professional, not ghetto. Okay. So I worked there for like a year and a half, and even though in my mind, I was like, oh, as a little girl, I wanted a salon, I still didn't see myself in that place. The tipping point was, they stood up in a meeting one day and said, oh, basically you're getting a demotion.
A demotion?
So what you're doing now, the work that you're doing now, you won't get the commission that you get anymore. Right. That commission is going to slide backwards. And being that, you have to understand, I still have one lung. I look normal, but I have to understand my workload. At the time, I was a single parent of two.
Makes sense.
So in my mind, I can't work any harder than what I'm working. And my money can't be decreased because I have 2 mouths to feed.
Right.
Maybe I should look into this entrepreneur thing because I don't have a backup plan.
No, it's crazy, and I got to ask you this. And
both of us jump in
because this is so powerful, and there are so many people. And Mr. Brooks, when he's here, one of the great luxuries we have in doing this particular podcast is that we interview so many successful business people, and there's always something that happens at their traditional job. Yeah, where all of their hard work and sacrifice that they dedicate to making that person's company go. Yeah, there's always something that could be like a dash of water in the face that makes you feel unappreciated and undervalued. So from that standpoint, you just doubling down on something that as business people we all go through. I'm sure there's members of our audience that are like, I went through that yesterday, but I have to ask you because this conversation is just so free flowing and we could do this for another half an hour. So please, just before we sign off with the audience, share all your contact info, where they can follow you, your IG handles, because if they don't buy your book, I want them to get the products. If they don't get the products, where can members of our audience meet and greet and interact with you on a personal basis in the near future? What do you have going on out here in public? Please let us know.
Okay, well, first of all, online you can reach me at www.TashellWilliams.com.
Spell Tashell.
TASHELL Williams, WILLIAMS.com. On Instagram, the Tashell Williams. You can also reach me at Euphoric Essence, EUPHORICESSENCE, and at Cadence Taylor Beauty. Here, recently, I have something going on next week if you want to come out and you all want to meet me in person. It is July 30th at the Greater Cathedral of Faith Church. Oh, wow. It's a Sisters of Strength. It's their first meet and greet. Awesome. And they want me to speak, and I also have some things there to retail, and I just love connecting with people. So if you just come out and let me put my arms around your neck and just say, hey, I heard you on the show. I just want to see a real live testimony. Then come on out.
Fantastic.
So that's how they can reach me.
And Dr. Michelle, I know your dance card as far as networking events, speaking engagements. I know your dance card tends to stay pretty full.
Yeah.
But for those members of our audience, members of your audience, could you just please share the next time people can come out and have a chance to interact with the Wealth Tattletale live and in color?
Well, October 1st, we're going to be doing a men's conference.
Dudes, we back in style.
The city of Houston. Yes, you guys are always in style as far as I'm concerned. And then because I am into the financial services industry, we are getting into the schools because that's one component that is out of the school, teaching financial literacy. So my co-host with FinLit Live, he and I, will be into Aldine School District, and the libraries are going to allow us to teach financial literacy to the high schoolers and things like that. So I'm really excited. Awesome. So our first day is going to be August. It's going to be August the 20th at 3 o'clock. Okay. So I'm just really excited about that. So I am Michelle Deselle, the Wealth Tattletale, and you can follow me on Instagram. And if you want to do a consultation with me, go to centricadvisor.com, where you can find me there, where you can do a consultation, and I can help you get your money right.
Absolutely. And I want to thank you so much because having your voice, your energy, and your experience on the podcast is something that I cannot put a value on, or I can't express with words how thankful Larry and myself are to have you as a professional friend, business partner, and confidant. So thank you so much for sitting in.
You're so welcome. The honor is mine.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network podcast. If you need anything from myself, Dr. Michelle, or Mr. Larry W. Brooks, the Texas Real Estate King, in the meantime, in between time, you can reach out to any of us on Instagram. Until next Thursday in the 12 o'clock hour, everyone out there in the audience, please be safe and be blessed.
Bye-bye.